it is 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. We have the closing ceremony of the third edition of the Balchark exercise between the combined joint task forces. For the international scene, a representative of nearly 200 countries meet to prepare for COP28. Welcome to our newsroom. The pilgrims of Hajj 2023 who arrived in Medina are doing well and have completed the first stages of the pilgrimage in the holy city of Medina. The Djibouti pilgrims visited Mount Uhud, an important stage of the pilgrimage. The Djibouti group then visited the Quba Mosque. The atmosphere of religious fervor was palpable during the different stages of the Hajj, starting with the city of Medina. Thereafter, our pilgrims will continue to perform the rites of the holy city of Mecca, where most of the stages of the pilgrimage take place. The Hajj is the fifth pillar of our holy religion, Islam, and takes place each year during 12 months of Hijrah, Dhul Hijjah. On Sunday morning, under the patronage of the Minister for Youth and Culture, Hibo Momin Asowe, the premises of the National Union of Djiboutian Women hosted the closing ceremony of the training course on the hero elements, which began 4 days earlier, and the testing of the container. The convivial ceremony was also attended by the Minister of Women and Family, Ms. Osman Aden, Mr. Roqia Yusuf, Deputy Secretary General of UNFD, Ms. Safiya Elmi, Vice President of the National Assembly, and after presentations of the training course by the Director of Culture, Fatuma Abdi, and the presentations of certificate to the senior practitioners of the National Hero Association and to the beneficiaries of the training course, the Minister Hibo officially opened the Hero container testing session. All those present agreed that the taste and smell of the Hero containers made by the trainees under the guidance of their elders were in line with the original traditional standards. The senior practitioners were delighted with the success of the trainees. They were also proud of the convincing results of their work. The Minister for Youth and Culture, Hibo Momin Asowe, said that Hero culture is the flagship matrimonial heritage listed by UNESCO, and its intergenerational transmission between elders and young people is an essential act of conservation. It is a central element around which revolve a plethora of rich values of solidarity, cohesion and unity for the benefit of the community, added the minister, praising in pacing the trainees' commitment and diligence. Lastly, she thanked all the distinguished guests, first and foremost the Minister for Women and Family, who had honored the ceremony of transmission of a precious intangible heritage with their presence, and congratulated the senior practitioners, holders of the know-how and experienced craftswomen. As part of the FEMFI project, the Ministry for Women and Family, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, with the support of the UNFPA, this morning organized training for health professionals on the protocol of the medical and psychological management of female genital mutilation. The training will last 2 days at the National Institute of Public Administration, INAP. The ceremony was attended by the Minister of Women and Family, Mona Osman Aden, the Minister for Health, Dr. Ahmed Rabil Abdullah, the UNFPA representative Aisha Ibrahim, and officials from the Ministry for Women and Families. The training was attended by midwives from the capitals and the 5 interior regions. The aim was to further strengthen the health system in order to provide medical and psychological care for female genital mutilation. At the end of the ceremony, the midwives received certificate of merit, and the regional representatives were given packet of literatures on the medical, legal, and psychological management of female genital mutilation for use by health professionals. On 4 June 2023, the Hall of Honors of the Djiboutian Coast Guard Naval Training Center at Camp Dorale hosted the closing ceremony of the 3rd edition of exercise Balchark. The Balchark exercise brings together the American Combined Joint Task Force, CGTFHOA, the Djiboutian Coast Guard, the French Navy, and the European Force of the Atalanta, represented by Spain, in addition to Colonel Wais Omar Bogore, commander of the Djiboutian Coast Guard, Major General Jamie Shawley, Commander General of the CGTF, Colonel Ahmed Daher Jama, Commander of the Navy, and Commander Guerrier, liaison officers of the Atalanta Force.
idan ugaro gafariga habeenkii guura galab caraba idan ugaro gafariga habeenkii guura galab caraba war walba geeska cadowga goobe gibirsanayne lagu gamay waxaanahay gaardekood idan ugaro gafariga habeenkii guura galab caraba idan ugaro gafariga habeenkii guura galab caraba war walba geeska cadowga goobe gibirsanayne lagu gamay waxaanahay gaardekood gooriyo ayaan bageesiyaasha gantaalaha ku gashaaman maraakiibta galbinaya.
Exercise Balchark is designated to strengthen multilateral interoperability in the field of maritime safety and security between the various partners taking part in a large-scale joint exercise both at sea and on land, involving Djibouti Coast Guard patrol boat and the Spanish Navy frigate Reina Sofia and helicopter brought the 3rd editions of exercise Balchark to a close. This joint operation is enabled the participants to train together and share their knowledge of techniques for boarding a suspect vessel, search and rescue at sea, medical evacuation at sea, and investigation techniques at sea. The extent of the human and technical resources deployed testifies to the importance attached to cooperation and collaboration between the various partners with the aim of achieving effective and professional interoperability.
waxaanu gaarahay bado dadka guudaha kama gaabiye waan galaa ama waan galaa hadda goobta laydiro waan galaa waxaan u gaarahay bado danta guud ahaan kama gaabiye waan galaa alla waan galaa hadda goobta laydiro waan galaa
gumuciyo rasaasban u garaacayayo cadowga waan gubaa cadow waan gubaa gumuciyo rasaasban u garaacayayo cadowga waan gubaa cadow waan gubaa goracan gaarila sarfareed godoriyo ilaa musha lowya cadda ilaa gudiyaba gudahaan badda cas ana kar ku taagan goracan gaarila sarfareed godoriyo ilaa musha lowya cadda ilaa gudiyaba gudahaan badda cas ana kar ku taagan qariibka gudoomay ku go'aya badahana midhir baan ku gaara gacan baan u fidiya midhir baan ku gaara gacan baan u fidiya qariibka gudoomay ku go'aya badahana midhir baan ku gaara gacan baan u fidiya midhir baan ku gaara gacan baan u fidiya
marakiibta gooshte gacankiyo badaacas marakiibta gooshte gacankiyo badaacas gooriyo ayaa ragku guula baraye gurmadiyo gargaarle biyaha gumaraanay marakiibta gooshte gacankiyo badaacas marakiibta gooshte gacankiyo badaacas gooriyo ayaa ragku
The ceremony closed with the presentation of certificate to the participant.
Erkelarubdam yalla kinni midiki ainama manolisin barsamantunum diki aisa Erkelarubdam yalla kinni midiki ainama manolisin barsamantunum diki aisa niyasini rabe waitai itubukoy niyasini rabe waitai indiha.
In her remarks at the ceremony, Major General Shauli welcomed the excellent relations between the CGTF and its Djibouti partners from the Coast Guard and Djiboutian Navy. Listen for more detail.
Strongly that this is another home for us. I no longer feel like just a guest. So your warm partnership, friendship, strategic relationship, the strategic relationship and the personal relationships are so important and meaningful. So thank you for those kind remarks. The strategic relationship and the personal relationships are so important and meaningful. So thank you for those kind remarks. I also welcome all of our distinguished friends, guests, and partners this morning. Thank you for coming together today just to mark and to celebrate some success and showcase what we've done together. Maritime exercises like Bull Shark are where we commit to a strong future, a better, stronger future together. I hope that everyone learned a few things. I also hope everyone had some fun. We often come to these and we thank the colonels and the generals that stand in the front of these formations. And while I thank Colonel Wais for his partnership, I also want to thank the captains, the lieutenants, the chiefs, the sergeants major, my own captains, our Spanish partners. The real work is really done by our field staff and operators. And so for your professionalism, your own leadership at every level, and your vision, you led the way to tremendous success. Our friendship with Djibouti spans literally decades and has grown into a long-lasting and enduring partnership for mutual security and prosperity. Time and time again, we've worked together to learn more about each other, and we have practiced performing critical joint missions in and around Djibouti. We do all of this alongside our hosts, our Djiboutian Coast Guard, Navy, and other FAD partners, but also our other prominent maritime security partners, including our Spanish partners and the European Union naval forces.
Colonel Waisa Omar Bogore, commander of the Djiboutian Coast Guard, reiterated in his speech the importance of this type of exercise. Listen to him.
It is with my great honor that I extend my heartfelt gratitude to every one of you for gracing us with your esteemed presence on these momentous occasions, marking the culmination of the bulk shark exercise. This event holds significant importance as it underscores our unwavering commitment to maritime security and safety in this region. The meticulous designated bulk shark exercise was orchestrated to rigorously evaluate our operational capabilities, fortify our coordination and collaboration efforts, and equip us to effectively navigate the challenges that lies ahead in our pursuit of maritime security and safety in this region. Throughout this exercise, Bull Shark, we had the privilege of forging an intimate alliance with our esteemed international partners, the United States of America and the Spain Army and the Navies. Their invaluable experts, support, and the seamless cooperation have been instrumental in attaining the resounding success we celebrated today here. This collaborative endeavor has fostered the exchange of profound knowledge, cutting-edge tactics, and strategic insights, thereby enhancing our collaboration, working collectively, and enhance capabilities and the ability to address to maritime challenges and the bolster regional stability at the maritime domain.
The aim of this trip was threefold, three objectives. On a human level, this trip to Ali Sabih was an opportunity for young people from different backgrounds and horizons to get to know each other better by sharing common rooms, tasks, and activities, as well as through exchange and discussions in a joyful and good-humored atmosphere. From a sporting point of view, it was an opportunity to evaluate what they had learned through regular training sessions. It was also an opportunity to teach them about the spirit of competition and winning at a very young age. After almost 10 years of continuous training in the capital, the East Africa Academy in Djibouti has decided to move up a year this year, so 2023, by decentralizing its young coaching activity to the interior regions. This trip to Ali Sabih was an opportunity to open a new sports center for Asajok children. On their arrival in Aska at around 9 a.m., the largest sports delegation from Djibouti's East Africa Academy was welcomed by President of the Regional Council, Charmaki Hassan Al-Lale, and the head of sport, Mr. Ahmed Musa. The team then headed straight to the main stadium to take part in the first competitions. On the afternoon of Friday, 2 June, at the sports ground in the center of Arta, the Regional Football League was launched by the Djibouti Football Federation in partnership with the Arta Prefecture. During the launch of this Regional Football League, which brought together 10 cadet clubs, the acting prefect of Arta, Mohamed Fouzi Ahmed Assowe, accompanied by the president of the Djibouti Football Federation, Suleiman Hassan Wabiri, the head of the FTF branch in Arta, Mr. Momin Kaidol, and his technical staff kicked off this competition, which aims to combat juvenile delinquency. While identifying young talent, the federations provided all the sports equipment and covered the refereeing and other costs to ensure that the league was a success. The acting prefect urged the president of the federation to give more support to the development of sport, in particular football, which plays an active role in livening up the towns and keeps the region busy during the summer season. For the international scene, Sudan Americans and Saudis went an effective trust fighting continues. Saudi Arabia and US are seeking to continue discussions between the warring parties in Sudan with a view to a new effective ceasefire, said Riyadh on Sunday. Fighting between military and paramilitary forces continues to rage with no and in sight. Residents of Khartoum were once again confronted on Sunday with the din of bomb and air strikes as the war for powers between military and paramilitary leaders entered its 8th week. The Saudi Foreign Ministry said in a statement that the emissaries from army and paramilitaries were still in Jeddah, where negotiations had been officially suspended. The two mediators called for a new ceasefire that is effectively implemented, given that the two previous truces they had negotiated had come to nothing. Environment representative from nearly 200 countries meet to prepare for COP28. Representatives from nearly 200 countries are meeting in Bonn, Germany, from Monday to prepare for COP28, scheduled for December in United Arab Emirates. COP28 is said to be one of the most important summits in the fight against climate change. For the first time, the governments are due to take global stock of the measures taken since the adoption of the Paris Agreement in 2015. In other words, to look at what has already been done to limit global warming to plus 1.5 degrees since the industrial era. At the beginning of May, Simon Steele, Executive Secretary of the United Nations Climate Convention, said that this was an opportunity for our generation to correct the trajectories we are on at times when scientists are constantly denouncing the continuing rise in greenhouse gas emissions and the inadequacy of measures to reduce them. And to close up this edition, Karim Benzema bids farewell to Real Madrid and Bernabeu. Karim Benzema took advantage of the final day of the La Liga at home to Atletico Bilbao 1-1 to score his last goal for Real Madrid from the penalty spot, and with a very modest farewell to an entire stadium. Golden Ball winner Karim Benzema is leaving Real Madrid after 14 seasons with the Spanish club. He announced it on Sunday. Real Madrid club and our captain Karim Benzema have agreed to put an end to his brilliant and unforgettable period as a player at our club. Real wrote in a statement released a few hours before the final match of the Spanish league season. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.